Welcome everyone. This is John with Living in Our 50s, and we're coming to you today on this overcasted day. Very cloudy, cool. We had a cool front come through North Texas this morning, some of it this afternoon. So it's been a day. Today's Friday, March 27th. It's a cool one out there, so let's see what today's temperature is right now. Ooh, it's 57 degrees, 14 degrees Celsius. Vlog number 85. Hope y'all are having a fantastic day. It's like I said, a little cool out, but it's kind of windy, so I'm underneath the porch. But you know, yesterday I was scrolling through Facebook, social media, something, and saw somebody that posted a picture of an old drive-in movie theater sign. And it was, what was weird, I looked it up because I don't know, I'm just fascinated with stuff like that, especially abandoned places and stuff. But what struck me is that when I looked up the information on it, it's called Meadowbrook Drive-In Fort Worth, and they said it was around Beach Street, south of Lancaster, or north of 30, and so I guess that'd be north of Lancaster Avenue. And I was like, well, I used to go through there all the time. I just don't remember the sign, and it's just never. It's an area that's never been developed. It was full of storage containers. I actually do remember going through there. I just never saw any storage containers or anything, or a sign there. I remember the storage containers, but I don't remember any signs or anything. But yeah, so I started looking into it. I was like, you know what? I seen a old drive-in movie theater sign near where we live. It's kind of cold out, so I'm shivering, but maybe I should put a jacket on. Anyhow, I started looking into it and kind of seeing, well, what happened to it. So that's what I'm going to talk to y'all about today. What happened to the drive-in theater? Why didn't they make it? They were around strong for a couple decades. I'm going to go get a jacket. Hang on. All right, so we apparently got a dog running around here. I went and got this on while in the process. They're talking about some dog running around here, so someone may come busting out here in a minute. But so this Meadowbrook Drive-In, we used to drive by there all the time and had no idea there was a drive-in there. It opened July 2nd of 1953 and held about 700 cars. The capacity was about 700 cars. It closed in 1987. I'm giving you these dates because I think it's kind of important to the story or the history of drive-in movie theaters. The one in Bonham on Sam Rayburn Drive, Highway 56, County Road 4130, it closed in 1987 and opened in 1950. So y'all see the theme here: early 50s and then late 80s. That's when they started closing. So I started looking to see, okay, what caused the downfall? I mean, so there's several factors to it, and I wanted to kind of go over them because I thought it was kind of interesting. Trying to find it right now, but a lot of different things happened, in the 80s. A lot of things just all this stuff happened, over a period of time. But you think about the progression of how things were, and land became too valuable because developers were wanting to buy it for shopping centers, apartments, warehouses, highways, stuff like that. The two I'm talking about are still vacant pieces of property. I can remember the one at 635 and 75. For years there was one there, and I think now that's got a hospital on it. I can remember that one because that was over where my grandmother used to live, and I can just remember driving by there and see a big movie on the screen. But because of time, things had changed a little bit. By the 70s and 80s, indoor theaters started becoming building multiplexes, and they'd show a bunch of movies at once. Air conditioning, they'd have comfortable seating, they could be open year round, better sound and better picture. All that came about. Daylight savings, time would hurt. Never even thought about that, but when daylight savings came out, I don't know what year that was, but that put a hurt in it, because then people, movies wouldn't start till 9 o'clock. Well, you get a 2-hour movie, you're talking about 11 o'clock. And a lot of them were double features and stuff. Home entertainment arrived in the 80s. Remember VCRs? When VCRs came out, and then you could go rent movies. To buy them was crazy expensive. It was like 80 to 120 bucks, something like that. Sometimes, first run movie cost $300 or $400. But then there was cable TV, DVDs, and later streaming. So this is the one I think put a bunch of them under, and it was the digital projection cost. Around 2012 to 2015. Now this, obviously, the ones I was talking about closed in the 80s, even some of them earlier. Hollywood stopped distributing film reels and switched to digital projection. So the conversion cost was $70,000 to $100,000 per screen. Many remaining drive-ins were small family businesses and couldn't afford the upgrade, so they had to close. Drive-ins only work when it's dark, not raining, and not freezing. So you were limited. Your time frame was very limited. In the 1950s, there were about 4,000 drive-ins. Okay, and today there's only 300 left. Only about 300 left. It's I just thought it was some interesting facts there that caused it. I imagine property taxes on that much land, because somewhere I saw how much land they need. In the 70s, 80s, indoor theaters. Let's see, shopping centers. Okay. So drive-ins required huge pieces of parcels of land, and that often was 10 to 20 acres or more for them to operate. Because several of them would have several screens, and you'd have certain ones that if you sat, you're at one particular spot, you'd be able to watch both screens. I don't know if you could hear both or not, but anyhow, that's a lot of acreage. That's a lot of taxes, because it is a business. You're not going to get, you're going to get taxed like a business does. So that was kind of interesting to me. I thought might be something interesting to pass on to y'all about drive-in movies and the movie theaters, how they just became outdated. I know my parents would always talk about going to the drive-in, and I know we went a few times to the drive-in. There was one in Plano too. I remember that one, going by that one a lot, somewhere around Parker and 75, and I think there's like a Costco there and some other stuff there now. But there was a huge drive-in there too. So I remember being around. I don't think we went a whole lot of times to them. I remember we saw Dirty Harry there, and I was probably too young to be seeing it, but I was supposed to be asleep in the back of the car, so I guess my parents didn't know. And I said, "I'm Dirty Harry." That's how they knew I wasn't asleep, because I kept saying that for days on, saying I'm Dirty Harry. So, that's all I got for y'all today. Been real tired today. I had a couple jobs, but it's just, I think it's the weather. Just kind of brings you down, makes you a little, sleepy and what have you. So I just wanted to talk about drive-in movie theaters and what in the world ever happened to them. But hopefully this gets you diving into some memories or something. Maybe you got some photos or something you can share. Put it in the comments below. What was the first movie you remember seeing at a drive-in movie theater, or perhaps what was the last movie you saw? So there's people say you can still see remnants of a lot of these drive-in movie theaters. That just goes to show they were probably built pretty well. At least the the roadways, the entryways inside, in there, and all that kind of stuff. But I'll try to put some of those photos on the screen if I can find them, the places that I talked about today. And hopefully you have some memories of those places or some of your own. Like I always say, if the Lord wills, we'll see you in the next vlog. God bless.